Hi, I'm Blair Malazdrewich, and this is Hot Wheels with a Z.
With a Z?
That's right, with a Z. I've always been fascinated by cars, and this show is how I'm going to learn more about cars, car culture, and the type of people who get involved and why. I have a car expert, so let's check him out. Rod Workington has always been into cars. Played with Hot Wheels as a kid and at 14 worked at a gas station. He started getting into the mechanical aspect, bought his first car, a 1974 Dodge Challenger, and rebuilt it himself. A few more rebuilt cars later, a quick break to get married and a career, then back to his car passions. One of his most notable is this. A replica of a 1966 Batmobile. Bottom line, he does it all because it's fun. Hi, I'm Blair Malazdrewich. I'm talking to you from the road for this episode of Hot Wheels with a Z. It's a show where I learn about cars and the car culture in Manitoba. Joining me, of course, as always, is my expert, Rod. Rod, what do you have for us today?
Well, today, Blair, we're gonna meet up with a family of car lovers.
So a whole family. Usually we do two separate people, but this we have a one-stop shop.
We got mom, dad, we got the son, we got a daughter, we got a girlfriend of the son. The whole family's engrossed in this car culture. I think it's just going to be phenomenal to go see them today.
So what kind of cars are they doing, like, you know, muscle cars? Are they doing trucks? Are they all doing Batmobiles like you?
Yeah, no, well, I don't know if they're doing a Batmobile right now, but they're into all sorts of different styles. They're very, they got some Mopar products, they got some Chevy products. I mean, they're into Fords, they're into everything. I think it doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as it's kind of cool. That's what they're into.
Now, a lot from what I've learned, we talked on the show about it being, a lot of times people are interested because it gets passed down from my dad loved cars, or like my uncles loved cars. This is the quintessential example of generational car loving.
Exactly, and their son, I think he didn't even bother going into the family business. He straight off, and he started his own car restoration company.
Awesome.
He's kind of doing this stuff out of his shop.
Now, Rod, I love pop culture, and of course, a big part of pop culture in general is cars. You're talking about, in a previous episode, we talked about the Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit. I'm thinking about all the other cars, Ecto-1, whatever kind of car that was from Ghostbusters, obviously the DeLorean from the great
Back to the Future.
Exactly. I would say great trilogy, but really only the first movie was good. But one of the cars we're going to see, are any of these pop culture cars?
I think there's one that we're kind of going to sneak in, and you'd have to be one of those pop culture people maybe to understand it. There was, you remember a TV show called Dukes of Hazzard?
Yes.
Well, everybody remembers the General Lee.
Of course, yeah.
And everybody remembers the Duke boys, but there was also a young lady in that, which was her cousin, called Daisy Duke. Now, people that first reference that show, they look at that. Daisy always drove a Jeep, didn't she?
Oh, I thought she did. Yeah.
Well, actually, in the first year, she didn't. She basically drove a Dodge muscle car.
Oh, nice.
And I think we have something that we might see that we haven't seen in quite some time.
Nice. So this is something we're going to want to see, unlike me in Daisy Dukes, which nobody wants to see.
Trust me, we still have that on YouTube somewhere too. I think you can probably find that. And I don't think anybody. What do you got up to 3 hits on that one now?
I think that's the dark net.
The dark net, yes. So, but yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. It's not an exact recreation of the car that Daisy drove in the first season, but it'll be interesting. And the neat thing is people don't realize that Daisy had this old Dodge that she drove, and then season 2, all of a sudden they gave her a brand new Jeep, and nobody understands why they did that. And it was Chrysler had actually at that point had obtained Jeep.
Oh.
So they wanted the cars
to feature the car.
Feature the car. So what they ended up doing is they ended up getting her a brand new vehicle, and they gave her a Jeep.
So product placement.
Product placement.
So now, did that, being a Dodge guy, did that hurt that they took away the car and gave her the Jeep?
No, because you still had Daisy.
Okay,
which is fair.
Really,
So,
she could have come up on a skateboard, and you would have been like, "Yeah, I'm on
at
board."
that point in my life, it wouldn't have mattered actually. So,
That
and we
makes
still
sense.
and we still had the '69 Charger,
Yeah, of course.
which
Yeah,
is which was the iconic car of that time, anyway. So.
All right, we just met Monty and Barry. We lost Rod because there's so many great vehicles on the property that he's just somewhere in the background looking at cars. So I'm going to ask you guys what's fascinating and why we came to you guys, obviously, is because the love of cars is definitely a family thing in this household. So Barry, let's talk about, I'm going to blame you. Maybe it was all your faults that got them all started. So you have, you and your kids, you guys and your kids are all on board. How do you think this all got started, turned into a family thing? Were you the catalyst?
Maybe, but I think it's in you or it's not in you. Period.
Okay, so what do you mean by that? Do you mean like you're just born with it?
I think so.
Yeah. How was your family into it when you started when you were younger? Or how did you get into it?
Actually, not really, not at all.
Really?
I just totally was the oddball when I was young, and
Nice.
I loved it and just went with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. So then you came along. I always feel like whenever you talk to people who work on these, that every partner involved has to be patient. I feel like you have a lot of patience, but you also love this as well.
For sure.
Where does your love come from?
Well, I think I was born with it. I mean, I think I was the boy of the family. My dad taught me how to drive when I was 14, and when I was a young girl, I had Barbies, but my favorite toys were my Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
and I would
there you
play
go.
with those, and it was just, I
But
love
wait,
cars.
didn't Barbie have a Corvette at one point?
Yeah, but that was Barbies. I liked
okay.
the cool Hot Wheels, that was...
That's the way to look at it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
That's
That
awesome.
was my thing.
So when you see your kids get involved, what is that like? That just something you can share with your kids?
Oh, yeah, I'm proud, totally proud. Both of them, Brandon's, following that as a career, and my daughter too. Like, how much prouder can you be? Like this, I think it's awesome. We can all do this as a family, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, see, that's pretty great because of course your business is not in cars. That's not where you make your money. But that's your son has chosen that path. What is that like for you as a dad to see your son and your daughter step forward into that career?
Well, I do. I like it. Like with one of the really fun parts is when they do buy a vehicle, like even this truck my daughter bought out of Congress, Saskatchewan. That means it's a nice road trip right away, and I get to go.
Well, that's part of it.
Pick
Like,
it up.
do you feel like I find as I'm learning, it's the story of the cars.
Exactly.
And to see them, and then. I think there's a girlfriend that's also involved with your son, his girlfriend is also involved in cars, and you see that just carrying on generation to generation. What would you want to say to somebody who's maybe not interested in cars, but they're just seeing their interest begin?
That's a tough one. I mean, if you have an interest, maybe you can't work on them. Maybe you don't buy them as a project or whatever. You can buy them completed, and I'd say go for it.
Nice. All right, well, let's take a look at the great cars you guys both have. All right, Bonnie, so you have two of your own cars. Let's talk about what those two cars are.
Okay, I have a 1984 Cutlass Supreme that I've had since brand new, and I have a 1973 Plymouth Satellite.
All right. Now, what went into each of these cars?
Well, a lot of love.
A lot of love.
And my first car, the Cutlass, that wasn't my first car, but I got it. It was May 11th, 1984. Got it from Jim Goche.
I was 4. Just so you know.
I was a mere baby too, by the way.
Okay,
I was.
All right.
So no, it was in the Jim Goche showroom, sitting there, and took it home that night, and it's still with me.
Okay, and what's your other one?
And the other one is the 73 Plymouth Satellite Sebring, and that one I acquired last April. We drove to Tabor, Alberta to pick it up and brought it home, and I've been in love with that one too ever since.
Now, Rod, pressure's on. Out of these two cars, which one do you prefer?
I'm a Dodge guy.
Yeah.
And the Daisy Duke car, we have to go with that one.
Yeah, that's why it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I understand.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right, well, let's go take a closer look.
Okay.
Cool. So let's start with the Cutlass.
Well, the Cutlass, it's got an LS1 motor.
Yep.
And it used to have a V6, and I mean that thing was pretty scary when you pulled out to pass vehicles, and now there's no hesitation with this. I love this car. So it's really easy to drive. It's quick. It's good to handle, and it's
It's your baby.
it is.
So my thing is like, I would never, now like I don't have a lot of knowledge, that's why we're doing the show, but I would never have thought a Cutlass would be a car that you would want.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah. Are people surprised that that you did it with this car?
Not really, because it's a classic now.
great.
I mean, they were great cars back then, but it was, it wasn't your typical hot rod or cool car, but
And styling did change in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
From the 70s, the early 70s, when we had the muscle cars and everything like that, and then of course we had all the problems with getting gas back in the mid to late 70s, and stylings ended up changing, right? So in the 80s, when the 80s come, it's a completely different generation of car now, of styling. It was a lot squarer. The angles were a little bit sharper and everything like that. And this is one of those cars that came out of that. And being the two-door and everything like that, it is one of those cars that people are fixing up now.
All right, so let's move to the fancy, you called it a grocery getter, clearly it's not. But let's move you over here, Rod, you stay on this side. Now, this is awesome. This I understand. Now let's talk about this car. Tell me what you love about it.
Well, it's not a perfect car. I wanted actually a ratty muscle car, just
Okay.
something kind of beat up, something I can tear down the gravel roads with and not worry if it has a stone chip or anything. And this car has it. I mean, it's a lot nicer than the ratty muscle car, but it's got its flaws, and I don't care. I wouldn't fix a thing on this thing. It's unique and it's different, and
It'll go.
It'll go.
And yeah,
Really,
this is
it'll
a
go
big
too.
block car, original
It's a big
block car.
Yeah.
So what's cool is if we move to the back, we talk about this being a whole family operation. Rudy, you can get it from that side. These decals on the side.
It didn't come. It did come with it, but when I got the car in April, apparently the stickers ripped off, and the previous owner just tore the stickers right off.
Yep.
Just ripped it right off. So there was nothing, and so the back end just looked big and yellow. So my son Brandon, he got the sticky stuff and made a strobe stripe, and he made this all by
An
on his
amazing
own.
job that he just made it.
Exactly, and it just makes the car.
And these satellites originally came with these stripe kits.
Yeah.
Right? And when I first saw this, I didn't realize that he had faked the stripe
That's how
kit.
good it is.
Yeah.
That's what a
And
good
which
job
is
it is.
very impressive that he had ended up doing that.
All right, so now we moved on to Barry. This is not your car. Whose car is this? I shouldn't say car. Whose truck is this?
This would be my daughter Tanis' truck.
All right, so what's the story behind this?
When she was 14, she wanted to buy a vehicle. She wanted a classic vehicle too. So
What a surprise.
she ended up buying a short box Chevy in Regina, Saskatchewan. We went to get it, and it wasn't quite what it was supposed to be, and we ended up buying this truck from a preacher in Congress, Saskatchewan.
Oh, wow. Nice. So what all did you guys do to it?
Not a whole lot, just pretty much
Cleaned
just
it up?
wheels, tires, cleaned it up. It's got a 460 big block in it. We did an intake, and we did fancy valve covers, carburetor, stuff
Awesome.
like that.
This is not, I would never, now maybe this is just my issue with cars. The great thing about this is with your family, we're seeing a lot more women interested in cars. That's like from our show so far. Do you think that that's changed over the years, that you're seeing more women interested in cars?
I guess it depends. I
Depends
guess
on the
it's either
family.
in them or it's not in them, right?
Yeah, you lucked out then.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
So what's that like? Your daughter is into cars, your wife is into cars, and your son is into cars. What is that like to have to be able to share that as a family?
Actually, I love it. It's great. Like, we do car shows together. We'll take like the whole fleet, like, to the car show and whatever. And yeah, I'm happy. It's good. It's a lot of fun.
Cool. Out of all the cars, this one is probably my favorite. What is this car?
It's a 1972 Monte Carlo.
This is incredible. What did you get? Did you find it like this? What did you do to it?
Well, we found it close to this.
Close to this.
It couldn't even make a safety when we found it. There was no heater. It basically was dragged. It was on the strip. We had to make it a street car again.
Nice.
So we made a street car, and because even the engine, they had it winding at 7,000 RPM. I took it apart, crank and everything was good, but I re-bearinged it, put everything back together. We did some paint to the engine right away, and we did put quite a bit of work into it.
Now what's really cool is when you were moving this car around, it makes a little bit of noise. Now you also somehow made it go from like a little bit of noise to a lot of bit of noise. What is that about?
It's exhaust cutouts, they call it. So
Okay.
basically, you just hit a switch and I can run down the street. It's kind of quiet.
Yeah.
Or if I want to make noise, I hit the button and I'm.
So it's like an engine silencer, like you have it on the gun. It silences
It's
the
almost
noise.
well. It's like he's running through his exhaust system. He hits the switch. There is no more exhaust system. It's an open header system now, and it's loud and it makes really nice noise. I like it.
So do you love the noise or do you love the quiet?
I love the noise.
Obviously love the noise. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, we're gonna make our way over to your son's shop to check out his cars. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, well I'm excited because it seems like there's a lot of stuff to see, so let's stop yammering and go check out these cars.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a good idea.
All right.
Yeah, we should be good.
All right, so we made our way from one property full of cars to the next property full of cars. Now, tell me about how you got into your love of cars.
Well, my dad used to fix cars since I was really little, so I would be in the shop since kind of a baby on. And
You absorbed the knowledge.
yeah.
So what was your first car?
I had a 62 Pontiac.
And how old were you got that?
I bought it when I was 11.
How old are you now?
23.
Okay, so since then, how many cars have you had? Ballpark it.
Somewhere around 30.
Okay, was your first car your favorite?
No, I never drove it on the road.
Never, but putting it together, is that where you learned the most?
Yeah, it led to other things for sure.
Now, did you learn things from that first car that you were like, oh, I don't want to do that again?
Yeah, I wouldn't show off the work I did.
That's okay, I don't show off my first work on TV either. So, well now, let's talk about what we have behind us. What is this car?
This is a car I'm working on for a guy. It's a 68 Le Mans Sprint. It's got a overhead cam 6 in it and a 3-speed standard, so it's kind of a rare model.
Now it's on this, we walked in here and Rod, you got very excited about the machine that it's on.
Well, the rotisserie that it's on, yes, they're if you're doing car restorations, they're excellent things to have. You can spin this thing any which way you want. You can get into every corner of the car, and you can fix everything. They're wonderful. I don't have one. Love to have one, but I just don't have the room
So he's
right now.
envious.
Yeah, you don't have to crawl around
hugely.
on your back.
Yeah. So you get both sides and you can do all the body work on it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when do you think, what's your projected, when do you think this will be done?
He wants to drive it next summer, so
Is that feasible?
yeah.
With your magic touch?
Yeah, we just got to get to it and get it done.
That's the biggest thing, right? Is finding, the love is always there, it's the time.
It's coming along good.
Awesome.
Oh, and you can get the rest of your family involved too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do Christmas that day working on this, have the tree set up in the shop, and you guys could continue to work.
Yeah, nobody's upset when I'm in here. They understand.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's
Awesome.
good. And you have a very understanding girlfriend then too.
She's very understanding. She's got the same passion, I guess. For
Beautiful.
Cool. Well, now he's got a lot of brownie points. Let's move on to the next project. Cool. All right, so we just talked about your girlfriend, so it's a perfect segue to this project. What is this? What's going on?
Well, this is a 28 Essex sedan chopped down into a pickup. That's the way she picked it up. And I just kind of set a bunch of parts up here so she has something to look at. And
So you're mocking this up right now for her.
kind of, she's going to be doing the work on it kind of as she feels, I guess.
So, but you put it like this. It was interesting. You said that you put it displayed like this so she can get an idea. Does that help to show a potential?
Yeah, she was a little bit stressed out by all the parts laying here, so I figured it would cheer her up.
Wow, that's pretty nice of you. I can barely do the dishes, so you built a car. Well done.
Very nice. I love the shopping cart use for the motor. I think that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was something
You
that was
can
laying
move it
around.
around and everything like that.
How key is ingenuity? How important is that when you're putting a car together? Like just being resourceful.
It was something that was laying around, so I threw it on there. This way it's easier than dragging it on the floor, I guess.
I love it. So you did some drawings. What were those? What was the idea behind some of those drawings?
She wants a Model A pickup, and it's kind of hard to find a Model A, so we picked up whatever we could, and I figured I'd give her something to look at. I drew something.
The Model A is what, the second most popular Ford car ever sold, I believe.
You're looking at me like I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
I don't know why I
was
did
like,
that.
it's the
right?
7th most popular. I have
Yeah,
no
no,
idea.
it's the second. It's the second. Even though Henry Ford did not want the Model A out, he wanted to keep going with the Model T.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was Edsel that came up with the Model A.
Oh.
So he just schooled us, right? It's my show. Shut up.
Oh, sorry.
Now this is going to be awesome. I'm excited already. I only seen this section. When do you think you're going to be done? I keep asking you the hardest question, man, because I'm fascinated by the time investment, and that's the biggest thing.
Well, it's kind of up to her. I'm probably rushing it already for her. She wants to take it slow, and it's kind of wherever she goes with it. It's her project. And
Is she a fast learner?
oh yeah, she does all of her own stuff.
Oh,
I
cool.
just kind of help her out. She's got her auto body ticket and everything. Yeah. So.
No, awesome. Yeah. So how important is that too to be with somebody who has similar interests when it comes to cars? Because there's a lot of time you spend in here. I mean, obviously, but there's a lot of time you spend in here.
Pretty important.
Yeah.
We both go to car shows together. We met in Red River doing auto body, and yeah, it definitely helps. You can share something together that
You love.
can actually both appreciate.
And she fits into the family just
Yep, no problem.
no problems.
Perfect.
Yeah. This is Krista's old 50 Chevy. It was kind of her first old car. She wanted something. This is kind of just what came around, and she ended up liking it. She learned how to drive 3 on the tree on it. And
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a term. What's 3 on the tree?
3-speed standard on the column.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So was that an adventure?
Yeah, not really. She caught on quick. It wasn't that exciting.
When I learned to drive standard, I drove it in the Assiniboine Park parking lot at the old zoo. And my dad was very patient, and I think we may have destroyed that car, but it still worked, so it was fine.
Yeah, this went smooth. She caught on quick. It was like she did it before.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what'd you put inside? I'm not gonna know, but you tell me. You tell me why this is so cool on the inside.
She pulled the original.
She took the original motor out.
Yeah, the original 216 came out and put in a 261 straight 6.
So what's the difference in,
Just bigger cubic inch, a little bit more modern, better oiling system, and
does it give it more power?
it's got a lot more power. Yeah.
Don't laugh at me. I'm asking you these questions because I don't know.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's pretty fun to drive now. It's got oil filter and 12-volt system, a 2-barrel carburetor from a 318 Dodge, electronic ignition, electric fan.
So when they have these two motors, do they make these motors look older? Or do you because it looks so streamlined and very time period.
Basically, that's the way it looked. We just cleaned it up a bunch. She's got the fancy wires and headers and a little bit of chrome and personal
Awesome.
touch. Yeah.
You know what's interesting too is he said, and I don't know if you picked up on this, Blair, he's talking about using an old Dodge carburetor on this.
Yeah,
Which
I
is-
heard that, but I don't know what
He's mixing and matching manufacturers, right?
Okay. Yeah, obviously.
Which isn't always the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's just whatever was around.
Whatever's available.
Tried it out.
Is there a lot of trial and error in this process?
Oh yeah.
Is there more
There's
error?
more error than
Probably. Yeah.
you go with what works. Finally, you'll figure something out, and all of a sudden it'll just come together, right? But it takes time, takes hours.
Were you frustrated?
No.
You don't seem like a guy that gets very frustrated.
No, she had some pretty frustrating moments with it.
Yeah. Do you guys still drive it?
She drives it about every second week.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now, who did the exhaust manifolds?
Well, I don't know where they came from. We got those from a swap meet.
Oh, okay. So you
Nice.
didn't make them.
I didn't build those. I built the exhaust on it and the wiring, and basically the rest she did. I just kind of helped her
Nice.
out here and there and give her a hand.
Kudos to her.
Perfect.
It's
Does she have an older sister?
no,
Probably not that old.
I figured I'd ask.
mom's single.
No, there you go.
You're not. Okay, well, that couldn't have been any more perfect. We got to see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cars
Yeah,
in that
pretty much,
span?
yeah. I
that
mean-
was pretty awesome. and the guy lives right in his shop, like that's a car guy and a car family.
I wish I could get away with that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That to me would just be great. He's what, 23, 24 years old? And
Yeah.
he lives in his shop.
And he's turned his love of cars into a career.
Yeah.
You have to sleep in the shop, but only when you get in trouble.
Only when I get in trouble. Yeah, definitely when I get in trouble. But his is heated and nicer. It's a lot nicer.
It's a little
right?
bit better than yours.
Yeah.
Well, that about does it for this episode of Hot Wheels with a Z. And until next time, I'm Blair Malazdrewich.
I'm Rod Wargenden.
Well, that about does it for this episode of Hot Wheels with a Z. Until next time, keep your tires on the road. Keep your wheels on the concrete. Don't go car-razy. Same car time, same car channel. Until next time, vroom vroom.